Saudi Arabia has been quietly edging into a new era of social openness and has just taken one of its boldest steps yet. The kingdom is planning to open 2 new alcohol stores. One is going to serve non-Muslim foreign staff inside the compound for the state oil giant Aramco, and the other is going to serve diplomats in Jeddah. They're all, these 2 shops, I should say, are going to represent the first major expansions since last year's opening of the now famous Booze Bunker in Riyadh, which was the first legal alcohol store in the country in more than 70 years. Now, this latest move shows just how far Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and his push for modernization is really going as Saudi Arabia tries to diversify its economy, attract global businesses, and prepare for events like the 2034 World Cup. But it also raises big questions in a deeply conservative country where the king is still the custodian of the 2 holy mosques and alcohol remains off limits for most Saudis. So I'd like to turn to our host and correspondent, Nicole Zedeck, who's here with us in the studio to break this down just a bit more. Let's talk about the significance of this move in Saudi Arabia. Is it a symbolic step or really a genuine shift, you could say, in daily life for expats and the business community as a whole?
Certainly, it is this shift for the business community as a whole, but I think that is the symbolism from it as well. The fact that this is not for the general Saudi citizen. This is for the expats. This is for the business, the non-Muslim foreigners that live and perhaps work or even visit Saudi Arabia. That's the goal right now. This is what MBS, the Crown Prince, is hoping to accomplish with all of the Vision 2030, with the World Cup 2034, as you mentioned, getting tourists to actually come and tourists to stay and enjoy it, trying to combat with some of the other competitors in the region as well. And so while this could certainly shift the daily life for many of the expats that currently live there, I have to say they were able to get alcohol in more of the non-legal ways. Some of them could get alcohol through diplomatic mail deliveries, actually, others through the black market. And so this does show if you want to get it, you can. So those in favor of a move like this are also arguing it could make it more safe for many of these diplomats as well that want to live there and still enjoy some of the pleasantries of the Western world.
Because it's pretty much known that there is, you could say, underground scene when it comes to alcohol within Saudi Arabia with so many foreign expats living in the country. But, you know, does easing these alcohol restrictions risk any political or religious backlash at home, especially from those who are locals and cannot access these stores?
I think this is why we're seeing it in such a small increment. The fact that over the past year, we've seen about 3 of these stores now open up. The fact that the Saudi Crown Prince is trying to show to the rest of the world, the Western world, we're making these slow, incremental steps toward liberalization, if you will. Yet to his own base at home, he's stating, this is not for you. We are still keeping our Muslim morals and the groundwork. So you can have both at the same time, if you will. And I think that is a very difficult line to walk, and this is why the Crown Prince is doing it so systematically to make sure that we're not expanding all at once. We're doing it step by step to make sure that if the infrastructure does expand, we already have the rules, the regulations. We see exactly if anyone does try to slip through the system, perhaps, we have our eyes on it. And so if it does want to expand in a different sense, then it seems the kingdom is on top of it. And I think that's why we're seeing such a slow process of this, but it still is a signal, certainly to the rest of the world. You mentioned those at home that might want to have it be a little bit more leeway. To that, I just turn back to then the black market, the underground booze scene that you just described. We're seeing that already, so we really haven't seen much public outcry when it comes to a move like this.
Right, and of course, this is going to be ultimately a moneymaker for Saudi Arabia as well. But from a regional perspective, does this help change Saudi Arabia's position, in terms of making it more competitive against other regional players like the UAE and Qatar, who are also fighting for more tourism and investment?
This is not about making Saudi Arabia Dubai. These are 2 different places, right? And the kingdom knows that, because in order to be Dubai, you have to completely change the standards and the culture that this city. And so this is walking the fine line of maintaining the deep-rooted culture and history in Saudi Arabia while still making it an interesting place for tourists to come. And we have already seen, since some of the modernization rules and regulations have rolled out in the past several years, Saudi Arabia hit its 100 million annual visitor target 7 years early. So they're already seeing hundreds of millions of people going to the kingdom.
All right. Well, Nicole, thank you for joining us and breaking that down. That is it for now.